today we got to play That Old Wallpaper. Now, this
old wallpaper. That old wallpaper.
Yep. So this is an AEG game, and this is a pre-release. Like, we got to play it before a lot of you guys did, so this is exciting. But
Corey is our friend, but he's not an official AEG representative.
I volunteer at Big Game Night. That's where we get the shirts.
He just mugged one to get the shirt.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Randy, can you tell us a little bit more about it? I know there's not a lot there.
Yeah, I can tell you that this is a 2022 release that is coming out at GenCon.
Mm-hmm.
Its rating is not available. Its rank is also not available on Board Game Geek. It's a 2 to 5 player game. The average length is 15 to 30 minutes, which is about right. Age 10 and up. Probably. It really is just matching.
It's matching patterns. I think you're fine. Yeah.
Design is by Danielle DeLay. Art by Matt Paquette and Company. And it's published by Alderac Entertainment Group, or AEG. MSRP is $24.99. I see it on pre-order at Miniature Market for $19.99. I didn't see it at Card House, our usual other Target. So it looks like you can get it from roughly $20.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about the quality of components. So this game is mostly a card game, right? Mm-hmm. You do have these wooden circle tokens, but and you have like your scoring cards here as well.
Yeah, they're just one-sided score sheets.
But
there are two on.
There's two on there.
Yeah. So there's two on there. Overall card quality, I think pretty good thickness, no linen finish, kind of shiny, but I think they use that because of the metallic on the wild portion, so you actually kind of get a different kind of
they're shiny.
Yeah, they're shiny. The metallic makes you can tell what the wilds are. So that's actually pretty helpful when playing. So overall, what are you guys thinking for quality of components?
I mean, I don't like the real glossy finish, but then if you had done the linen, then the gold would probably stand out more, and it might be easier to see it from the side. So I guess I can understand why they did it. But we did run into situations where the cards were like sliding and different things like that.
The deck, the main deck that we filled the row with kept falling over because the cards are so slippery. And I think sleeves, if you were going to sleeve this one, or even just some play to get some of that finger oil on them, they'll stick together.
Yeah. But we need a number, guys. What's your guys' number?
I'm probably about a 5.5. I mean, as far as the quality, I don't see it being anything special. It's
a card game.
Yeah, it's a card game. And the sheets are super thin on paper. They're not...
Well, they're just scoring cards, so...
Well, yeah, but that is something that's kind of important to the game, scoring.
Yep.
Well, not so much for me, this game, but for other people, it was important.
For me, it was important. I did great. Corey, what did you think on quality of components?
Let me ask, is that quality of a card game or overall quality?
It's overall quality.
This is no Hero Quest.
No, we're not expecting.
No, so our level 5 is Catan, right? And Catan has like the wooden pieces. Okay. It has tiles, so that's our 5.
I'm gonna give it a 6.5 then, because I like the foil embossing.
Well, that's theme more. We
that's
talk
a little bit of quality. I'm going to give them on this one.
I appreciate that instead of making this like one small score pad.
Is it one giant leap for score pads?
It's one giant leap for score pads. No, that they put the 2 on there, so you at least got some replayability. You're not going to burn through those as fast. So yeah, I think 6.5. Yeah, and you get some little wooden cookies for...
Yes, do not try to eat them.
I'm actually going to be in the middle because I think it's a 6. I think card quality, the metallic finish is something different. That foil is more than what you see in traditional card games. But at the end of the day, it is a card game. There's not much to score here,
These
right?
could have been minis. Minis of grandmas.
That would have been awesome. I would have given it like a
grandma.
7 if you.
You know what? You know what? I can 3D print
some grandmas.
Some grandmas. All right, so kind of let's move on to the theme. So the theme is you are creating a wallpaper, and it is 70s wallpaper.
Well, it's different decades, I think, but it's gaudy, that's for sure.
Well, I mean, I think it's mostly 70s. There might be a little 50s in there. I want to
have this on my wall.
But it does well. But at least each pattern is very distinct, so it's easy to distinguish, right? Because if it was too much the same, then I think we would have issues with that. So as far as functionality, I think they hit that spot on. And I think it's kind of funny that it's this ugly wallpaper. I think that's part of the theme that kind of gives it fun. Like when you see this, you do think of little old grandmas, right? That's not mentioned in any part of the theme, but it resonates that. And when a game kind of draws in that feeling of something else, I think that shows something.
Actually, when you play the 2-player variant, there is a third ghost player that is grandma.
Oh,
so they're like, if she doesn't score any points, but she always wins because she gets to see you both having fun.
Oh,
that's what it says in the rulebook.
That's
to me that kind of is creepy.
But it is the grandma. We had the right mindset there, and I don't know if I seeded that earlier or if that just fell in, but yeah.
No, it definitely felt like grandma's wallpapers. Like I'm in a 1970s house, like I'm in an old lady's house, like I love my grandma.
I'm just curious what the wall is that you're putting this paper on, because the shapes that you came up with, I don't see ever being a wall.
No, but it's quirky, and that makes it kind of fun.
These are strips of wallpaper.
Now Corey's made your dad's look like an actual wall over there almost. Yours looks like you were wallpapering the outside of a small building.
Who won?
I'm not saying that you didn't win. I'm just saying it doesn't look like a wall.
I did it functionally, so I ended up winning. No, but overall, I think it's a cute little theme. I think it did give you some emotion behind it, which is part of it. Is an integral part of the gameplay. It's pattern matching, but I think it's fun that they kind of put that old wallpaper theme to it. I think they did a twist, right? They could have done something that's been used a million times, but they did come up with something a little different.
Spaceships or
zombie
parts.
So
that old spaceship.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a little layered on, but they did something new and different with it. Made it a little more interesting.
I'll tell you the thing. I was thinking about this today before we played. The part of it where they could have gone a step further for the theme is these decorations. So there's a decoration cards. That look like the other ones, but they've got a little shape in the middle that's metallic. I would have rather those were actual decorations. Like this should be a moose head, and this should be a picture of the family. I guess since you're set collecting there, I'd almost see the other family members, like the 4 grandkids or whatever.
Like little portraits.
Yeah. Because then you'd have this finished wall with maybe this one had to be upside down to get your pattern right, but you got Uncle Bob and
No, that would have been. I think you're absolutely right. I think that would have been a blast.
That would have bumped the theme up for me a little bit.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And Grandma Minis.
Yes, yes. I'm with you. I'm resonating. All right, but we've got to give it a score, guys. What's your score?
Yeah, I'm probably at a 6. I don't think it's super outstanding. It is colorful. It's shiny. I like the shininess of it. I didn't get enough shininess. Well, I got enough on these side cards that were, these were the bane of my existence.
And it's kind of your own fault.
I didn't get the cards that I wanted during the play of the game, but I'd say I think 6 is fair for it.
I would agree there, and you mentioned these wild cards that you get. These are called hazy memories because you're supposed to be remembering this pattern that was on the loved one's wall.
So it's kind of like the GenCon carpet.
Yes.
I totally want that pin.
GenCon carpet edition of this. So yeah, like you're like, oh, I remember that it was this green, yellow, but then I can't remember what was after it. Like, and that's what those represent. So I think that adds. But 6. The theme, like you said, it could have been anything. They could have taken it a step further, I think, to lock that theme in. I don't know where they came up with this old wallpaper. I'd love to see the prototypes for this. But yeah, I think 6 is a fair score.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that one. I think that, when you mention those add-ons, I'm like, yes, that's how you would make this even more. So I agree with you, absolutely. All right, so moving into the rule book, something different.
Yep.
Randy didn't read it.
No, because Corey is actually volunteering to teach it at GenCon.
Yeah, this will premiere at GenCon 2022 at Big Game Night. I think it's sold out. But you can always check at time of post on this. But yeah, this will be one of the games we play that evening, and I'll be there teaching. So the first 4 people that get to me get to play with this minor celebrity.
Yes. No, and side note, also, he is a fantastic teacher, so definitely, absolutely.
And Rob will be there as well teaching.
And your sister.
Oh, she's teaching as well, yes. Well, they haven't even met my sister, so that'll be an interesting find.
I tried to get her to come here tonight. So
yeah, We'll give her like a Legends of Nirvana shirt, so maybe you can find her.
Until we change out the shirt. So if you get there early, look for Legends of Nirvana shirts. You get there at like 6 o'clock, 2 hours before they'll let you in.
No, but absolutely. No, so that So,
where did you land on the theme? Did you give us a score?
I agreed. 6.
All 6?
Okay. Yeah. So we agree.
Right.
But you were going to talk about the rule book.
Yeah. So the rules are fairly simple. I think this is falls in line with AEG's kind of filler games. They're meant to be played in 15 or 20 minutes. There's not a ton of setup. I think you guys all had it after like one round. There was some and I think the rule book explains this because they show the pictures, and that's probably how I should have shown you guys. You're not bidding for right to pick, you're bidding for the position in the column blindly. You get a little information from what other cards people have. But yeah, it explains all that. It's got the 2-player variant in the back. It's got a high score tracker in the back, so you can keep records if you're one of those people. So I feel like the rules are clearly explained. There's a ton of pictures in here. I would give this rule book a 9. If it had a granny on the cover, a 10.
Yeah. So that's great. It's great when we encounter a really good rule book. All right. So now let's actually talk about the gameplay, guys. So essentially, you are going to have your deck of 10 cards. You're going to shuffle this
1
deck.
through 10 on them.
Yes, you're going to shuffle that deck, and you are going to pick 5 of those. Okay, so these are the cards that you are going to end up bidding with. Now they're different, right? Because you shuffled, and you got 1 through 10. Now
we have 10 if we didn't have central cards.
All right. So when you draft, so then I'm going to set up the board. Now I am going to put 1 card on each unless I encounter a red dot. So we're going to force a red dot here. All right. So, oh, look, I'm going to draw another card now because there is a red dot. But when that ends, it ends. Now, there is cases where you can draw red dot, red dot, red. We had one column with like 5 in it. Yeah. So just kind of being aware of that comes out to play. And so then we're going to decide, hey, you know what? Column 2 really suits me well, or whatever. You're going to keep that in your head, and you're going to pick a card that you think is going to get you that column that you want. Now, again, it's not based on choice, right? So you're wanting that particular column. So this is the low numbers, and this goes into the high numbers, right? So for an example, because maybe I'm looking at my cards, I want this one here because it matches perfectly in my section. I'm going to end up playing a 1 because I have it, but I'm not going to show anybody. I'm going to place it down here below, and everyone's going to pick their card.
Would you pick, Randy, so we can show the other thing that happens?
I picked the 10, but you don't know that.
Okay, so then you're going to flip over. All right. Oh, look at that. So I go into slot 1, and I'm automatically going to get that.
And we'll assume your dad got something between 1 and 10.
Yeah, but guess what? These guys tied, okay? So they're going to go, they're going to take over both of these columns because that's the place they're going to take. Now, if you look at the track, red is actually ahead. So red gets to choose the column that they want, all right?
And just like in the real game, I end up getting consolation prize.
And then Randy gets a hazy memory.
I get a hazy memory because I'm old.
So just to be clear, he does not get the other column that was not chosen. He has to get a hazy memory. So just making sure that that's clear. Now, everyone's going to then take their card and put it in the discard pile, but it needs to be shown because that's part of the strategy is knowing what other people have played. Okay, now this was taken. We'll say Dad chose this one. All right, now there's 1 card left. Now that card's going to stay in play because it wasn't chosen in that round. And then you're going to keep doing that. Now, eventually...
Oh, one more thing, though. Because Corey got to pick...
Oh, you're right.
His disc goes to the end of the line, and he's now last in priority for the next time there's a bump.
Now, we're going to play a lot of rounds. So we're going to play those rounds, and eventually I'm only going to have 4 cards in my hands. And when I go to try to draw that 5th card, I'm going to be unable to do so. So when I do, I flip it to the next round. So if you started on round 1, you'll go to round 2, and then you'll pick up the discard pile, you will shuffle it, and then you will draw your 5th card, okay? Now, you'll do that for 3 rounds, and then when you can no longer draw another card to have 5 cards in your head, the game ends. So overall, we figured, what was it, 18 rounds?
18 rounds, yeah.
18 rounds. So that's going to be the total, or no, I guess not rounds, but 18 turns with 3 rounds. So just keeping that in mind. Now, how do you score? So we kind of went over how to gain them, but what about scoring? So you're trying to match your set. So for an example, by placing these two, I can create a complete diamond of this, okay? In this case, this is the small red flowers. Now, if I just had this, this would actually be worth no victory points because I have to have a matching large red. So in this particular case, I would have to have this one. Now, if I were to place them on my deck, and if I have one big red, one small red, that would give me 2 victory points, okay? So your goal is not only to get a bunch of matching different squares, you want to get them to match both big and small of the same color to trigger those victory points. Now, those aren't the only way to get victory points. There is a set collection element, which are the diamond or the decorations in the center, the purple metallic decorations that we really do think should be portraits because I think that's amazing.
Right. We might draw on all these.
Correct. Yeah. All right. So those are another one. If you collect the full set, you get 10 points. And if you get less than that, there's some variation of points that it says on there. Now, we mentioned how if that had that red dot, you're going to continue to draw extra. Now, when you go to score, whoever has the most of those red dots on their board will actually get -2 VP. So sometimes getting those red cards aren't the best.
I personally didn't see that. I mean, I got the fewest and I lost badly. I think the fact that the penalty is only 2 points is not enough. I think it should have been a bigger penalty because you're going to get they give you such an advantage of having multiple cards you get. Right. So I think that they should have made that penalty like -5, -10 even. I mean, it should have been a big penalty, I think.
Well, I mean, I don't mind because I would have gotten No, I mean, I can see what you're saying, but I think, I mean, everyone's bidding for them. At the end of the day, I think at the end of the day, you just want to get them, right? You want to get the most cards that you can.
You definitely want to go for the circles. So ignore that 2 points.
Yeah, and just ignore the 2 points. It's so minimal.
Yeah, you get 2 points for having the fewest.
I lost by 4 points because I had the most.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'd had it, I'd still lost by 2 points. Like I think the strength in this game is condensing your wall as tight as possible. Mm-hmm. And getting the decorations.
Yeah, decorations are useful.
So, and then you also get 2 victory points at the end of the game if you're at the highest tier, which again, that's minimal. Yeah. I think that's just a constant.
It's tough to control. I was set to be that.
And then the last round you tied, didn't you?
And then we tied like in the last round. It bumped me all the way to the end. So.
Yeah, so that one, honestly, I feel like that's almost a throwaway victory point. Like,
yeah,
it's a consolation prize for somebody. Congratulations,
right.
You get 2 VP.
And you can't control that. That's the thing. If I knew I could, like, I'll bump Randy so he doesn't get that extra 2 points, then that might be those 2 points.
I mean, you have a little bit of information because you can see what's out and you know what those cards are. So I knew there was a good chance on several occasions where I was going to actually match somebody, but I had to go for it because it was the only card out there that would have fit nicely in my thing.
I would need more playthroughs to get to that point because I usually do that. In these type of games, I'm the person who plays the other people's boards. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't there yet.
Well, there was a time early on it that I could have taken advantage of. It was awesome. Where you all 3 hit the same number.
Right.
And I had that in my hand for the next round. And I could have played it guaranteeing that I would not match somebody. Right. But unfortunately, I needed one of the cards that was at the other end because it had more combos with it. And I had to play it. I could play this and guarantee it, but I'd rather get those cards down there, so I risked it.
I'll tell you what was really interesting to me is unless you played a 1 or a 10, you really had no idea where you're going to be.
Yeah.
Like, I would play like a 6 thinking I was going to be in the middle and be the first card.
Yeah.
Because everyone else played 7 and 8.
It
was wild.
Yeah, that happened to me multiple times, and I was like, man, this is whatever. I paid a 4 and ended up on the very end. And I'm thinking, what are y'all doing over there?
Like 2 1s and a 3, yeah.
Yeah, so, and you know what, that gives it a little bit surprising. It gives you something a little bit different. So I'm actually okay with that.
I like that part.
And honestly, I'm a big, huge pattern, like, trying to match all this. Like, I enjoy these kind of games.
Lines.
No, I don't do lines.
But there are lines on it.
Shut up.
Diagonals.
Yeah.
No, they're diagonals. They're diamonds.
But they go on forever.
No, but they're diamonds. They're fine.
Mm-hmm. Diamonds are a girl's best friend.
Exactly. There's the metallic. They're shiny. I'm good. This won't give me nightmares. I'll be thinking of grandma. I love my grandma, so I'm okay. No, overall though, This is another geometric kind of figuring out that puzzle piece on a bigger scale with a little bit of drafting component into it. And I think that keeps it fresh. Like, I think that's the little bit different in this game that maybe you don't see in others. You're bidding for position, not necessarily pick. So that's a little bit different. And the fact that it's a Tetris style piece that kind of adds that thing. So I think that's what makes this a little bit different game than maybe some of the others that we see.
Yep.
So now let's talk about score, guys. What are we thinking about score wise? Remember, 5 is Catan.
I would give this like a 9. Like, there's very little that I could complain about in the gameplay mechanics for this. Like, I think it's very thought out. You had one early question, I don't remember what it was.
Like if it was a friendly ties.
Oh, right, friendly ties for the
bonuses.
For the bonuses, yeah. But other than that, I think this is one of those that I think the more that you play, the more into it I'm going to be able to go, okay, Randy's got 2 of those diamonds, and he's got a 3 and a 5 and a 7 out. All right, I can probably get that with a 6. And
just to be clear, the friendly ties was in the rulebook.
Yeah, that's the other thing I forgot to mention on the rulebook. All the commonly asked questions are highlighted in a purple block.
Like, cool.
Underneath the specific rule, they're like, in case of a friendly tie. It's like, someone asked this during playtesting, and they're like, make that important because they're going to look for it. So, yeah, more points to that. But yeah, in terms of like gameplay, I have no problems with this other than the missing granny miniatures.
Yeah. Well, and I think you commented about you're thinking that the red dots should be having a higher negative penalty.
I didn't feel like the points were distributed the way they should have. I think that the fact that you got such a bonus for getting the cards, getting multiple cards.
The thing is, but if you don't play them right, it does not matter.
I don't disagree with that, but the fact is, like, you get 2 points just as a freebie bonus for being randomly basically selected because you're the first in the trade. As we pointed out, it's kind of just a bonus that you get as a freebie for just randomly being that person, and it's the same points you get for having the fewest dots. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I think it should have been at least 5 points, and you get a 5-point penalty to balance that swing that you get from having all those cards. I mean, you had a lot more scoring potential than I did just from number of cards.
Well, let's talk about the other thing that compares to, though. That's one set.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you can get that with your hazy memories at the end.
Yeah, but you're only getting from one side.
That's what I'm saying. I'm agreeing with you. I think that should be a bigger penalty because I can correct it easily at the end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, agreed. I think that probably, I would say 5 is weird because everything is in 2s on this. So
yeah. Well, I'm just saying it should be more than 2. Some number more than 2.
Right. It's worth 3 sets. I mean, that's, because I think you had a couple where you got 5 or 6, right? And I think my highest one was a 5.
Yeah.
So, if I lost those 3 sets, that's, Yeah.
So, I mean, from the gameplay, I like the mechanics of this. I like the colorful thing. The pattern is going to give me nightmares because it's just way too Crayola.
Too much for you.
But yeah, I'm going to probably give it a 7. I think is where I'm at. I thought it was a decent game. I don't think it's anything outstanding, but it's a nice filler.
This is a game that you'll play while Randy's setting up Battlestar.
Multiple times.
I'll be picking out a new game and a new group while Randy plays Battlestar. No, I will do it for his birthday. That's about it. Okay.
And I'm holding you to that because
I don't play expansions for Battlestar.
For your 50th birthday?
Yeah.
Side rail, but come on. He's half a century old. Give him a full 10-hour day of Battlestar at GenCon.
Maybe if I can con other people to enjoy it with them. I would rather do that instead of... anyway, I will provide the food while people play. I will be the go-getter for
I'm
the
also
food.
not going to play that 10-hour game. Just maybe when we get back. But no,
yeah. We'll play it on the Wednesday after or something. Okay. No, but for me, I think this is a good filler game. I think it's quirky, and I think that theme kind of draws it in. I think the gameplay is, you don't have the only, like I said, the red thing, that's probably true. But other than that, I think it worked out. It played beautifully. Yeah. It's easy to teach, easy to learn. It's a good filler game. It's good for entry level. I can see my family playing this. So for me, I kind of agree with What do I think? I don't know.
I thought you forgot my name.
No, I know you most of the time. I'm probably going to give this a 7 as well. I think it's good, but it is a filler game. As a filler game, it'd probably be a little bit higher. But when we're talking about games, just an overall, like a 7. But if you're talking about just filler games, I think Corey, you're right on.
I'm going to try and raise your guys' score by saying, because you said something about this playing with family. Like, I imagine playing this with my in-laws who are both in their 70s and them going, we had this wallpaper. Like, and it's something they can follow, right? Like, it's something, like, trying to teach them Catan the first time was a struggle because they are not gamers. But, like, this is match the colors, get the points.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here. If you want to win me over, have the GenCon carpet on the board. Make a GenCon edition.
That's theme.
Yes. I don't care.
Trademark.
That will raise my score by 2 points. Just for give me the GenCon carpet edition of this.
Right. AG, I want you to make this with GenCon's carpet, and I want our 3 faces plus as the pictures that we're going to switch these decorations for. We'll see you in 2023.
No, for me though, and this is the thing. This is why I as a filler game, I think it's good. And when you're comparing it to, I agree with your sentiment. For a filler game, it probably ranks pretty high up there. But when we typically do the comparison, right, we say 5 is Catan and like 10 is like my favorite game, which would be Westerns, right? So I don't think this could this can compete with some of those higher levels. But I think for a filler game, it is a really good filler game. Yeah. So that's why I want to stress this. So sometimes scores are a little bit misleading is because you're trying. There's a lot of games out there, guys. But for a filler game, absolutely great. I definitely think you should check this out. Go to, if you've got tickets to game night, try to hit up this game and see what you guys think about it. I really enjoyed it. So I think we'll be playing this again. I think my mom's going to really like this one. But I do think I'm going to have to pin Grandma Minnie's now. Yeah. So hopefully there's an STL file out there for Grandma Minnie's.
Put that Etsy link in your video. Get your Grandma Minnie's photo.
Yeah, the print little picture frames too to put on the different shapes.
Oh, good. Yeah, just so you've got them on there. Yeah. I think, the more I think about that, I know we're wrapping up, but I think this may be to make it harder to play the rest of the board state. Because when I look across the table, like, Randy didn't get any of those.
I got one.
Oh, okay. So I missed it, right? Like, just at a glance. So it may be that having these small, even though they're metallic, like, it's harder for me to hate draft you on this and try and match you or take your position because I just don't want you to get the triangle that you need to finish your set. Right?
Well, but I think that targets, though, 2 different things, right? So you were talking about what later and a couple of games later. No. But what I'm saying is that a couple of games from now, you said that you would be playing other people's boards, right? Where my focus would be my board. Right. And so if you're playing it from the onset of I want to be able to play other people's board, then those should be very distinct, right? So I think it depends. Did the game designer focus this on like a personal activity or to kind of focus against other people and build that tension, against other people? And so and this may have been a game designer choice, maybe something she didn't think about, or so that's an interesting play.
These are the stamps that the factory had for the foil.
Yeah, maybe, who knows, right? It could very well possibly be. But if you were going to add to theme, I absolutely, these being frames with, random Johnnies, I think that would really fit well into theme. Right. So, and it could be that she made that on purpose because, like you said, maybe not trying to hate draft so much, or it could very well be that that's just what they had. Who knows? That'd be an interesting question to ask her.
I wonder if they're going to be there.
Well,
usually the designers are there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it might be something that, hey, who knows? We can ask. Did you think about Grandma Miniatures?
Right, we did, but it was going to be $45.
Yeah.
Oh, fine.
The deluxe version. You get actual wallpaper swatches.
I think that might be a match. That might be a little overproduction there. No, but I agree. For a filler game, this is pretty good. So, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We had an absolute blast, and hopefully you'll come hang out with us again. We'll catch you guys later.
See you at GenCon.
Bye.